KZ end up with a -5 in a minute?
Hard 30 tonight.
First of all, I don't believe in numbers.
Don't get fooled. Grab a drink, because this is Hangover Time.
Right fucking there. 41 points in the second half. Again, another second half where you can't score like a modern NBA team. In the 1990s, this team would be a fucking beast. A goddamn beast. Yet they can't shoot threes. They can't hit free throws. They can't. It doesn't matter. In the 90s, 101 points. You're winning the fucking game. Too bad it's 2022 and 41 points in the second half ain't gonna get you shit. All right? Kyle Lowry, fat ass, is playing 40-something minutes a game to lose. Like, what the fuck is going on? We got Jamal Cain and Highsmith and all these guys. Our bench today was Jamal Cain, Haywood Highsmith, and Dwayne Dedmon. And they were the only guys on the floor that were a plus on the game. Like, for the game. They were the only they were the best players on the floor tonight. Dedmon, Cain, and Highsmith. Haywood fucking Highsmith. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, I want to blame Spo. But what else is he gonna do? Play Orlando Robinson? I have no fucking idea. Take me out, Brass. I don't know. Like, I'm frustrated as shit. Another game where they lose by 2, 3, 4 fucking points. The best free throw shooting team in the league missed 10 free throws on their way to a 4-point loss. And you could say, oh, it doesn't matter. No, tonight it mattered. Those free throw misses in the fourth quarter would have won you the game. Meanwhile, Rudy fucking Gobert is 100% from the free throw line. Like, the season is stupid. It's stupid. I don't like it. Like, when this shit is over, I'm going to treat it like that 2021 season that doesn't exist and doesn't actually count. Like, this season is dumb. I fucking hate it. I don't like it. Like, I just want to go. I just want to have my Thanksgiving and be thankful that there's no Heat games on Thanksgiving. Like, I'm just this fucking season. Anyway, I'm Alphonse Sidney, aka Alf954. Welcome into the Miami Heat Beat Postgame Show, Hangover Time. If you're watching live on Twitch, we love you. Thank you. Subscribe. Send us your bits. All that good shit. The chat is live. We have a really good time. If you're watching on the YouTube, the 5 Reasons YouTube channel, we love you as well. Thank you for tuning in. This is what we do every week. Once a week. One of the biggest games of the week. We come in here for the Hangover Time post-game show. We're going to have a good time, whether the Heat win or lose. It's always more fun when the Heat win, but we're going to talk shit when they lose. We're going to have a good time either way. And if you're watching the replay on either the 5 Reasons YouTube or the Miami Heat Beat YouTube channel, we love you as well, but always try to catch us live. It's just a little bit more fun. The chat is lit. They're talking a whole bunch of shit. I'm not even reading the chat right now because it's a cesspool of negativity, and I'm trying to have a good time. It's Thanksgiving. Like, it's fall. Like, we're supposed to be thankful for everything we've been given. Haywood Highsmith minutes. Like, 20 fucking minutes of Haywood Highsmith in November. Getting 20 minutes of Haywood Highsmith. 25 minutes of Jamal Cain, who I like. And somehow Jamal Cain plays more than Nikola Jovic. Man, I don't know why. All right, anyway, so we usually kick this off and find out what everybody's drinking tonight. We can't do that because we have Brady Hawk here from 5 Reasons Sports, and he's not allowed to drink. So we're not going to say what you're drinking. We're going to find out who kicked our ass, and there's a lot of options.
They kicked our ass.
Kenny, before we start, I just want to point out that Haywood Highsmith was a team high +7 tonight.
Oh, God. Feels right.
I don't understand that.
Which is that's why plus minus single game stats are ridiculous.
No, that feels right for tonight.
First of all, Haywood Highsmith looks like when you mess up the face scan on 2K. So I don't believe in his numbers anyway. I'm good on that. Who kicked our ass? Everybody. The game ended on 2 Bam Adebayo three-pointers. They don't care, man. And you know what? I don't care right now either. Win or lose, I'm just watching the game, enjoying myself. 2 Bam threes in a row, by the way. Like, hey, don't draw nothing up, Spo. It's cool. Just coast through the season. It's fine. Bam threes, great. Rudy Gobert hit 4 free throws. This wasn't a real game. I don't care.
This is not a real season.
But are you watching the game and enjoying yourself? Like, I don't think that's really possible with this current team, the way they've been playing lately.
I would like to see 48 minutes of Nikola Jovic shooting everything, and I'll enjoy myself.
Might as well.
Okay.
But aside from that, not really. It wasn't. I looked at Rudy Gobert for a long time. That's not enjoyable. He got the hair dyed, but it's growing back in, and he's too lazy to get it redone. I get it because it's Minnesota, but stop getting haircuts in Minnesota. Just go on a roll. Just do it there because it makes no sense.
Schmeeth and Schmolnick says Haywood Highsmith looks like an Applebee's waiter. Anyway, Siobhan.
Creative.
Brady has to be in locker rooms with these people.
Sorry, Brady. Siobhan.
Just muted up.
Yeah, right.
Siobhan, who kicked our ass tonight?
Let's see. I got Spo here on the stat sheet that's kicking our ass. I got the front office here on the stat sheet that's kicking our ass. PJ Tucker hasn't done shit for us all season, but he's helped kick our ass by just not being there. All these coaches' decisions, DMP kicked our ass. It's a lot. I'm here. I'm having a great time. It's a lot of shit kicking our ass right now, but I'm not too surprised. What is it? Street Fighter ass music in the background. Is this a new song?
Hey.
It's a new track?
No, it's like who kicked our ass music.
Yeah, Street Fighter.
No, we just won a lot last year, Bon. So we didn't get this. We won a lot last year, so we didn't get a lot of this music.
This is true.
Yeah.
Everybody got fooled.
Yeah, exactly. Who kicked our ass?
Don't get fooled. So tonight, I'm just gonna go with the Timberwolves front office because they gave Rudy Gobert all this damn money and years, and I don't even know, it just completely screwed everything up. It threw everything off this last postseason, and then no moves could be made because you're stuck with fucking Gobert, who did nothing tonight, he 4 for 4 from the free throw line, but didn't hit not a single field goal throughout this game. And you know what? Still won. I'm not really enjoying myself.
Bray, who kicked our butt tonight?
Oh, wow, okay.
Who kicked out Tuckis?
I'd probably say the third quarter. Like the fact that
the
final number was 37-19. Like the fact that there's this thing that happens where I compare it to football, where there's that initial drive where everything's scripted and everything looks really good, and then all of a sudden everything goes downhill. That's the Heat's offense. You'll come out the gates and everything looks good, then you get to the second half and it's what are we doing? Because we're just going to spam the same thing over and over. So it's definitely the third quarter. I think they scored 5 points from the 9-minute mark to the 1-minute mark in the third quarter. That just can't happen. And then Timberwolves get on a run where they just can't miss from three. They went from 12% in the first half to crazy number in the third quarter. That just turns the game, pretty much flips it right over.
I say that all the time. They ride this really good wave of adrenaline at first, and then the game settles in, and the other team's oh, this is what the fuck they're doing over and over. Oh, okay, well, this is fine. We got this. And then they go and have it.
Well, also, Kenny, I mean, I like the zone I like it. Like in as a little change of pace. Like Brady was saying, you got 2 running backs. You got your power running back. You got your switchy running back. You got your fast running back. I like it as a change of pace, but it cannot be your base defense. Like for 90% of your possessions, and it gives up a lot of open threes. In the first half, they missed the open threes. In the second half, what is an NBA team gonna do? They're gonna start hitting them threes, and that's what I feel like part of that is what happened tonight.
Yeah, I'm just going back to my original point. I don't feel like they care right now. Like it's like nothing makes sense. Fucking 2 Bam threes, man, and like just
but
wow.
Kenny, you can't.
I've never seen the zone. I don't really understand who they're even really trying to stop with that at this point. Like,
but Kenny,
is it Gobert you're worried about?
He's playing 44 minutes and he don't care. Like,
yeah, he has no choice though. Like Gabe is out. Their backup point guard tonight was Jovic, who should have played more. I don't know why he's not. Hey, that's another topic for another day. Once again, I'm just going with I don't think Spo cares right now.
But that's a real problem, though. You need to start caring.
Yeah.
You have to give a shit. You have to give a shit.
Hey, I'm not saying it's not a problem. I'm just looking at what I see. 48 minutes of zone against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I have no explanation for that. Yeah. It's just a little insane, especially when they're like, who the fuck is who's the little short bald motherfucker? Like, I don't even
McLaughlin or some shit like that.
Jordan McLaughlin.
He looks like the worst bouncer who's ever worked at a bar, and like he's just killing you. I mean,
Bond. He had 3 threes headed into tonight. 4 for 5 for the game. He was killing you. I mean, he had 3 threes in the third quarter, killing you all night. But Bond, what I don't understand is, okay, I get the zone when you have like Max and Duncan out there and Dedmon's your center and you're just trying to like get some possessions and get a few minutes so Bam can come back in. But when you have Bam, Caleb Martin, Kyle Lowry on the floor, I feel like you have enough good defenders that you shouldn't be playing zone in 2022. It doesn't make sense.
It's interesting. I don't think they feel as confident in Kyle's POA defense as you might think that they would, because I tweeted this earlier too. They don't use him. It doesn't feel like they like using him at the top of their zone anymore. And when they have him at the bottom, once that front line of the zone is cracked, he's just small back there. And so, like, in theory, yeah, maybe you should be able to play some man, but that hasn't been working. They've been playing like all zone for a majority of stretches of game for like a few games now. And it's not even the zone that they've been playing. They've been having success with like the 3-2 kind of 1-2-2 set where they at least have enough people up top to get out to the shooters. They've been going back to that flat ass 2-3 and not rotating well out of it. And so I don't know and we said the same thing about Minnesota last year. Like, we went to the game and G was like, they suck from 3. And then they came out and like shot our eyes out in 3. And it's the same thing that's happening this year. I don't know what it is that they're trying to accomplish with the zone. Typically you play a zone against teams that can't shoot. And yeah, we played Golden State the whole game in the zone, it seems like. We gave Minnesota all zone tonight, but it's because we can't defend one-on-one. Teams are bigger, stronger, have more energy, more liveliness about them. So I don't know what we want them to do. If they're going to play the zone, they're going to have to play the zone. But I would at least like to see them play the one that's kind of been working for them and moving.
My thing is, Bond, you just can't play zone for 48 minutes. Eventually.
I agree. They played some man early on.
Eventually, they're going to give it to Naz Reid at the free throw line, and they're going to figure shit out.
But that's what I'm saying. They've been setting themselves up in a way to defend that person in the middle better, and they've gone away from it. It's weird to me.
All right, so
go ahead.
I have this to say, and I am late. I understand that because I finished my drink in the first 10 minutes of the show, so don't expect intelligence from me tonight. But they're playing out of this zone because they just trying to preserve energy, I guess. They don't have a ton of guys playing. I don't fucking know. I'm out of excuses, man. But I think that's it. They're just trying to preserve energy.
And I get that. You have an 8-man rotation, but Brady, it's just not. And to me, like, we're harping on the zone, and I honestly feel like it's way too gimmicky for a full game. I feel like it's just too much zone. But they held the Timberwolves to 105 points. Like, you should be able to win an NBA game. Are we harping too much on the defense? Because 105 points would be one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah, the offense is the problem to me, but it still is something to look at when you talk about the defense. When you see a flip, how it's working in the first half and then it doesn't in the second half, and the reason you guys are just going over, it's like teams figure it out. The whole goal here is to basically, if you're the offense, is to get to the middle of the floor and kind of crack the zone in that middle zone. But what Miami wanted to do originally when they started running the zone was they want you to take that push shot in the middle of the floor. Like, they were not going to help over far from corners. They were going to limit threes in those spots, and they were just going to make you take that shot. I forgot what game it was. I think it was the Suns game when they basically did it with Cameron Payne, and they basically won the game for that reason. When you start helping off and now you're flying to that middle of the zone and you're worried about it because Towns hitting that shot, and then now Jordan McLaughlin's 4 or 5, like, that's when it becomes problematic. And I'll say, I think they do not trust, or I'll say Spo does not trust Jovic defensively. Like, that is my major takeaway, because the fact that they're playing Jamal Cain over him to close games, and it's like, part of it, we make the jokes about, like, if Jovic was undrafted, he'd be playing 45 minutes. But, like, part of it is just, like, if somebody defends, he just trusts you. Like, that's just is what it is. And if I don't think he's been terrible defensively either. Like, in the role he's been put in, I don't think he's done bad in drop. I don't think he's done bad in certain spots. But there's still an element of there's more trust there with other guys. So another reason they go zone so much is because when they're playing with Jovic, even though Bam is next to him, they don't want to have that type of pick-on play where you have Max and Kyle at the point of attack, and then you have Jovic sitting here that can get picked on. So there's a couple different reasons, but I really do think we're probably harping too much on the defense, because the fact that you ended up scoring 101 in this game where the offense looked good for a major portion, and like I said before, the third quarter just stalls out. And I'll kick it back to you guys, and I'll say one thing. It's like, the major thing that stands out to me is, like, Kyle Lowry is out there as the only ball handler on this team, basically. Like, he is fighting for his life in half-court offense, because you have Bam and Jovic who can be those guys, but they're not going to them consistently. They're not running pick and rolls. They're not doing this type of stuff. So what you're seeing is Lowry's just spamming pick and roll Bam every single play. When he's not, what is happening? Well, Max Strus is their secondary ball handler. He ends up putting up 23 shots in this game, Max Strus, and he had a couple turnovers. He had 4 turnovers in this game because he's not a ball handler. Like, they're forcing him into these high pick and roll reps because they just have nobody else. So, like, part of me is like, yeah, Max had a rough game, but it's like, I can't even put it on Max, because Max is put in a very terrible spot when they're putting him in this situation. And then Max's shooting in general, it's like, you're asking the only guy on this team that's going to provide any type of gravity right now to basically, for 3 straight games in high minutes, just run around. Like, just run around the floor to create some gravity, create some shooting. And then you're surprised that he's short on jumpers because he doesn't have any legs. Like, I'm not surprised. Like, I'm not shocked at all that he's missing the shots. So the offense is just a little bit weird conversation in general, because when you're talking about an 8-man rotation and you guys talk about the 3 players off the bench, it's tough to work around.
Brady, can I repeat the 3 bench players?
Yeah.
Jamal Cain, Haywood Highsmith, and Dwayne Dedmon. Kenny, are we doing too much? Like, are we doing too much with, like, there's no Jimmy Butler, there's no Tyler Hero. Like, I just told you what their bench was. They're on the road in Minnesota, who's a bad team. That's the thing. Like, you should be able to beat a bad team. They lost by 4. Like, they had a third quarter where they scored 19 points, only scored 101 points, 41 points in the second half. Like, what are we doing? Are we being too hard on a team missing? Like Brady said, Strus is a secondary ball handler. Strus should never be your secondary ball handler, right? Like, are we being too hard on a team that's just missing a lot of pieces? Or are we just being realistic on a team that's 7-11 right now? Like, we can say it's early, and it is early. Like, a 4 or 5 game win streak turns the season around. It is early. But at 7-11, is it time to, like, are we being too hard on them right now is what I'm asking.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. It is a bit of an overreaction. I think even still with them looking bad early on before the injuries, that was just kind of more sort of adjustments. And they started to mesh and get a little better, and then guys started getting injured. And those bench players you named, fucking wow. I mean, it just realistically, they just look like the team that has the players available that they have available. And so I'm not really tripping off these. Me and Frankie
were the best players on the floor tonight.
Yeah, me and Frankie said in pregame, like, neither of us were expecting a win. With, like, this schedule right now is so brutal with the small amount of players they have. it's just we can't really be too hard on them. It's just like it just kind of is what it is right now. They got to get guys back. I still don't want to see as much Haywood Highsmith regardless, but it kind of just is what it is right now.
But I'm curious, do you have a magic number, Kenny, when you're like, okay, enough is enough? I'm a little curious as to what that is, because I understand what you're saying. I do think that, it was a little bit, it's not necessarily prophetic what fans were saying, being negative about this team in the first 10 games of the season, but it's just, but they're not, it's not clicking, and it's frustrating. And at a certain point, you do have to sort of go like, man, this is not good, and you have to start pointing blame to why these things are the way they are, and not just, well, they don't really care.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I was saying they don't care, like kind of a joke, because Bam with 2 threes in the game is pretty ridiculous. There's no explanation for that. But the reality
I think
is,
he was just trying to get to the 18 mark because he said that before the season. He ended up hitting 18
Yeah,
because of those
right.
2 threes.
But this team is they are nowhere near as good as, last year they were absolutely lights out from 3, and I think in the third it was so disheartening because absolutely nothing was falling. Nothing at all was falling, and I see no plays drawn up just score 2 points. Score 2 points. Just they let these leads just completely disintegrate.
yeah,
Disintegrate, and then I feel like it's getting in their heads. Max in particular, I feel is really, because he had a nasty turnover at the end. He had an air ball with the last couple minutes. It was like 2 minutes ago or something, like 2-3 minutes ago. It was just like pretty inexcusable stuff. And I'm not putting this on Max, but I'm just
he's
putting
been bad. But I think he's being asked to do more than he really should be doing. But no, I'm gonna go to Bond, because Bond's been kind of on this with this team. And what I will say is, last year when they had games like this, when there was a bunch of guys out, they had the Kyle Guys of the world. And I would go back to Kyle Guy, right?
Dude, I don't know why.
Because Kyle Guy would come in here for 4 threes.
No, he gave him
Kyle
stuff.
Guy would hit an open 3. Duncan
Yes.
Robinson was hitting 3s. Max Strus was hitting 3s. Gabe was hitting 3s. Caleb was hitting 3s. PJ Tucker was hitting 3s. They had such a margin for error because they were hitting, like, they were setting 3-point records every time Jimmy and Bam sat out.
Foolish.
They were shooting 3s at a ridiculous clip. This year, the guys that are coming in are Jamal Cain and Haywood Highsmith. Right? It's not the same. You're not getting that same energy. Max Strus is not shooting well. Gabe Vincent's hurt. Caleb Martin's not shooting well. You don't have a PJ Tucker. Like, I feel like there was a lot of fool's gold in some of those wins last year when Bam and Jimmy were hurt. They would hit like 22 threes a game.
Well, a lot of it is there's a train coming, so I'm probably gonna have to mute in like 5 seconds, and I'll be back. No, a lot of it is kind of what Brady alluded to, and what Tiff and I have been saying a lot. In that, the strength of the team last year was their depth. The depth now is being asked to do frontline duties, but also pick up in the spots where they would have been picking up in last year as well. And again, it's not an indictment on the people who are starting, but it is fair to say that the adjustments with the starters have thrown off kind of the balance of the backside of the bench. And it's not just Tyler, Caleb as well. When those two weren't starting, Tyler was able to come in and cook and do his thing. When Caleb wasn't starting, he was able to come in and relieve Jimmy. There's no one relieving these guys now. And yeah, Gabe's not shooting well before he was hurt. Max is, but Gabe also is being asked to facilitate a bit more, which he should be able to do. He's getting
like
good.
the third quarter.
Yeah. And it's about to be closer. And Max is definitely being asked to do a lot as well. So a lot of it is fatigue, and it is a rude ass train, Jared. Like, they hear me talking, they know I'm having a conversation. Max is being asked to do so much that's taken away from what it was that he was able to do. And so it's kind of been a little bit of something that I've anticipated happening and coming into. Victor Osimhen being hurt is bigger than I thought it'd be, and I agree with that too. But people were like clowning on what Osimhen was supposed to be or what not to be, and I'm like, okay, but this is the person that they're going in on him. They expect him to be a part. They did expect Vic to be a part, which would have offset the Tyler move to the start. And so yeah, Gio, those are big things that are kind of hurting them. Schmeathan, fuck you, but. That's kind of what it is. It's tired. It's the lack of depth. And I genuinely feel like I've said it a little bit before, and Greg Leif and I have talked about it a little bit. I think they are a little bit over themselves as presently constructed. The shit is hard. It's tiring. All this hardest working, strongest, all that shit gets old quick, especially when other teams are getting better and bigger and all of this other stuff. So I think there's this kind of some overall sense of fatigue mentally and physically kind of with the team right now.
Bond, there's a point to that. Like, there's a fatigue that comes when you're with the same group for 4 years. So they're in that fourth year. That's when, the Big Three era, that fourth year is when we all were like, damn, these motherfuckers hate each other. Like, and I don't think, I see the bad vibes tweets. I don't really see that. And honestly, those are the kind of things I don't care about because I don't know.
I'm not just being like a bitch. I'm telling you, I know what a group that is fucking tired of themselves starts to look like.
And I get it. And then when you lose a few games in a row, it gets worse. It gets worse. And like they've had so many games. Like if they had pulled out some of these 2-point, 3-point, 4-point games, like it changes the narrative a little bit. But
it band-aids it. It doesn't.
Look at that Suns game. Like, look at the talk after that Suns game where it was like, okay, the locker room is back. Everybody's together now. This team is like finding a rhythm. So those type of wins. The Washington one was specifically would have done that. That would have paired up probably all these games.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing. It's like, yeah, they are Band-Aids, but they're Band-Aids stop bleeding. Like, right?
It helps. It helps. It helps. I am more concerned about the locker room feel right now than I was after the UD and Jimmy exchange last year.
What I'm concerned about right now is that Kyle is looking around like, Jimmy, Tyler, where the fuck are you guys? Yeah. Right? What I'm concerned about is like guys looking at like, yo, Depot, you were supposed to be here. Yeah. Like a lot of this stuff that we're complaining about, this is not like Brady. We talk about Haywood Highsmith and Dwayne Dedman. It was supposed to be Victor Oladipo and Omer Yurtseven, right? Mm-hmm. So even like I've been a big Omer hater, right? But one of the things I said is that is an excellent backup center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is a 13 to 15 minute a game guy who's going to pull out 8 rebounds in 15 minutes. Yeah. He's going to get you a few putbacks. That is a great, especially in a team that's struggling to score. Omer Yurtseven would have been a big help. And, like, that's what I'm worried about. When these guys are looking around, like, where the fuck is our help, Brady? Like, where, like, they're like, I know Kyle and Bam got to be like, damn, like, we're doing this all by ourselves.
Yeah, side note, you bring up Omer, and during this game, with all the things that went wrong, one of the things I texted was this team needs a backup big because watching Dedman take that step back jumper after that was wild.
Welcome.
He thought he was James Harden.
I'm telling you, like, he gets a little confidence. Like, he really gets confidence when he hits a shot. Because, like, think back to last game when he yells at Duncan, like, he got some authority. Then he gets a confidence player. Like, if he hits one, he feels like he hits 6. But aside from that,
he's trying to sell his own shirts.
Look, Nas Reed went to foul him when he went up for a dunk, and it was gonna get pinned at the rim. He should have just let him go.
But yeah, he wasn't gonna make that dunk.
He wasn't gonna make that dunk. He wasn't. Go ahead, Brady.
Oh yeah, no Duncan Robinson doesn't count tonight, guys.
True.
He could have played the 4 in the Highsmith minutes, but you talk about like the injuries and I guess the feel of the locker room. It's like you hit on it when you said it before. It's like we talk about Kyle a ton, and everybody has their own opinion on Kyle and what he's been in Miami. But watching him out on the floor play 51 minutes and this game 44 minutes, taking charges. The only guy on the floor that's creating positive offense for this team, doing all this different stuff. And Jimmy Butler's one of his best friends is sitting at home saying, like, I want to know what he's thinking. Because everybody's, like, trying to say when they're losing these games, it's like what are they doing as a team for Jimmy Butler? Because Jimmy Butler is the guy that they were building this all around. We're like, Jimmy Butler's not even in Minnesota right now. Like, Jimmy Butler wasn't in Washington. So it's like, part of me is like, they have to get to a point where it's like, well, one of my best friends at 37 years old is out here putting his body on the line. Now we have to turn this around and actually play games and get healthier. So these guys, like, the Oladipo thing's weird because I have no idea what's happening there. I have no expectation there. I don't even know, like, I'm not putting anything on that. But I think we all know Jimmy and Tyler are capable of coming back. They're capable of doing things for this team. But losing the locker room, it was funny because you said about losing the locker room before, and I thought about, like, half the locker room right now is literally Jamal Cain, Highsmith, Denman, and Orlando Robinson. There's like 9 guys in that locker room tonight.
They're just happy to be here.
Yeah, they're just happy to live another day in the Miami Heat jersey. So,
I think
They're like, we're trying to turn up in Minnesota.
I just think all the stuff about the team and the locker room, it's just probably a little overblown. They just look like a team that's losing, and they're missing so many key guys. Like, I'm not taking anything away from this.
And
when they come back and they look healthy,
well, they hadn't started. They maybe started to piece it together, but that's still without the time in which they started to find themselves a little bit. Still was without Tyler, who is supposed to be a big piece of them. Some of it might be overgrown, but I'm telling you, some of it is not.
Yeah, I just feel like we were talking so much differently after the Phoenix game. Like, that's my thing. It's like, and then after the Phoenix game, like, the entire world falls apart. Well, here's a super chat comment. Corbs asked, do the Heat need to hire a shot psychiatrist? They are the 3rd worst team in the NBA in wide open shots, slightly ahead of the Lakers and the Knicks.
Oh, God. That's a company I absolutely loathe.
Like, Kenny, I've been saying it. Like, we keep talking about defense. This offense, like, and they are the fact that they're generating these open shots says the process is good. And that's why, like, I have this thing where I'm like, okay, eventually they'll figure it out, right? Like, because if the process is good, these guys have been known to hit wide open 3-pointers, and they're just not. Eventually that'll come around, but it just hasn't.
And that's why I've been this whole time. I'm not sitting here pointing fingers. I'm not talking about what Spo needs to do with the rotation, with the lineups, all that stuff. They just got to make their shots. I don't know what's going on. And it's since the playoffs, they're just missing everything wide open. It's fucking weird.
Since the series against the Sixers.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. I have no explanation for that. It's just like they're doing, I'm not going to say everything right because they are fucking up sometimes, but they're generating the looks. It's right there. And even tonight, dude, how many fucking free throws did they miss?
10.
Even there, it's just like,
yeah, that's unusual.
And that's probably just legs, but just the
free throws are legs, but jump shots are not legs.
I didn't say that.
I would say jump shots are legs. I don't want to hear none of this leg shit. I'm sorry. I've told you this shit, Bond. I don't want to hear it. Like, come on. Like, these guys got to hit their shots.
They were missing wide open shots healthy, too.
Huh?
There were some wide open shots healthy, too. I'm thinking that's a problem in itself, but I think tonight
I'm talking about fatigue.
I can't tell if this is parody or not.
It's definitely parody. That's it. That's the last straw. As a proud Miami Heat fan since 1988, I have never been more ashamed of a defeat in my life. I will now take my support to the Orlando Magic, where they know how to run a franchise. I felt like that tonight a little bit. And you know why I felt like that? Because here's our gaga of the game.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Here we go. This is the highlight of the game right here. Gaga.
You are stupid.
Why does he look like that, man?
He wanted to take off from further, but realized he couldn't, so he had to squeeze in that last dribble right there. Caleb is taking off from that first dribble.
I can't tell if he's fat or not, and I don't like that.
His shorts don't even look regulation. Like, play that again, Brad. His shorts don't look like everybody else's shorts. They gave Haywood some different shorts. He looked like he got them from the Heat store before the game. Look at it. Those ain't Heat shorts. This shit don't even look right. The line don't match up.
We got the swingman replicas.
Crazy Andy had that in like a bin in the back room.
That should say Heat with 2 E's. So that's what we celebrate tonight. And in honor of Haywood Highsmith, we're going to bring up our new segment. We're going to look at some stats.
Again? Oh.
I thought he was going to play it again. It's like I loved it. The Highsmiths and the lows. This is per Juan Carlos Pardino and John Jablanca. Follow them on Twitter at Kelly O'Burner and at John Jablanca _ They are the resident statisticians for Miami Heat Beat. John Jablanca just actually came out with a new launching pad for MiamiHeatBeat.com this week. Check it out. So they gave me a bunch of stats this week, and I just wanted the stats that said how bad is Haywood Highsmith as a player, right?
Terrible. You're rude.
So Haywood Highsmith, he has a minus 5.4 offensive, I think that's estimated plus minus. Third worst in the league for anybody with 100 minutes. He's a minus 8.7 on offense for Raptor. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, tell me what the Raptor stands for.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't know. Ask Gianni. He's a big
about
Raptor fan.
Toronto. Second worst amongst the guys with 100 minutes. Minus 8.1 something box plus minus. Worst among players with 100 minutes. Minus 3.89 something ORPM.
Like an eye chart.
Yeah, I don't know what any of this means. But John assured me, out of players that played 100 minutes in the NBA this season, he is the worst. He is the worst offensive player in the NBA this year. And I don't know what any of those fucking numbers mean, but it's all bad.
Those are completely made up stats, but I believe
it supports my no. Put them back up. Put them stats back up. They ain't made up. Look at that. Minus 5.4 OEPM.
Like, who the fuck made up the Raptor stat? That and the LeBron stat. I hate
Toronto
that.
Did.
Raptor and LeBron.
Wait, Brady, what's EPM? That's estimated box plus minus or some shit?
Wait, let's go with that, sure.
Brady don't know. Like,
and then OBPM, like he's bad at OBPM.
Hey,
what the fuck is that?
And ORPM. I think Brass put some of these wrong.
Look, I'm watching the Utah game.
I literally copied and pasted, man. Don't put this shit on me.
I'm watching
it's Brady right now.
Look, I'm watching the Utah game right now, and Max Strus is third in the NBA in miles run on offense this season.
That used to be Duncan. They
that was
doing cardio.
Damn.
And I feel those last 3 games have been even more so running. He's the guy that's playing all these minutes and the only guy that's the shooter creating these looks. So like, you bring up legs before is literally what this is. Like
he's run 25 miles on offense.
No, y'all didn't give that. Y'all didn't give that excuse to Duncan. Max ain't
because
got that excuse.
He had people beneath him. There's no one beneath Max.
That's
before Max came on the scene. There was no we didn't trust Max at first.
Y'all didn't.
Come on.
I swear to God, the same time I was talking about Gabe, I was talking about Max. And I said Max could approximate some of the stuff Duncan does.
Max looked terrible. First couple games.
Hey, I didn't want to bring it up on air because it's just been a thing I've been having fun with. But the treatment of Max Strus in comparison to other Heat players by fans is pretty hilarious to me.
You didn't get paid
I just want to
yet.
point that out. It's kind of like, which is dumb because who cares about money? But it's a little funny. It's a little interesting. He can go 2 for 15 from 3, and people like blame Kyle for that and shit like that. And then it was Tyler's fault at the beginning of the year, and Tyler was playing well. And then it's like, hey, why is there such a difference here? Well, Tyler has superstar expectations. All right, well, does Duncan have superstar expectations? No, but he's not Max, so we got to stand up for Max. Look, so this is what I'll say, right? Because I don't do the accountability stuff, and this guy needs to do this. And so just, if you're going to be a hypocrite about it, just don't do it at all, because it gets ridiculous after a while.
You are conflating.
I do think there is something to be said about once guys get paid, the expectations flip, right? So, like, I see a lot of people saying,
What do you
Kyle,
mean? Why?
Speaking of getting paid, thank you for the $5 from Mitsuaki. F that Spo got to explain why he trusts Max and Caleb more to handle the ball more than Jovic, and why Jovic isn't getting major minutes. He's a point forward. So thank you for your donation.
No, and here's the thing, and I do want to finish my thought on the contracts thing, Brass trying to stop.
He was.
I'm
just listen. Okay, people donate, and I'm very grateful.
Thank you for the donations. But I do think, like, sometimes people say, "Oh, Gabe should start over Kyle." Man, if the thing is, if Gabe was under that same spotlight as Kyle, y'all would be killing Gabe, and he wouldn't deserve it. Like, but I'm just saying, like, that spotlight of starting and that spotlight, if Gabe got paid $30 million a year, y'all be killing that man for some of the shit he does. But that's all. The expectations change once you get paid, Kenny, and that's real.
It has so little to do with basketball, and that's all I care about.
But it does impact the team and the way the team is built. Like, you can't say it doesn't.
How does it have little to do with basketball?
It has nothing to do with on the court, but it has something to do with the way the team is built.
I care about on the court. And so looking at the team, if you're going to, like, punish and, like, bash and brutalize some guys for their production, then do it with everybody. Or don't do it at all. Because we're talking about basketball. So if you're going to skip over it because it hasn't gotten paid yet, well, do you care about the team winning right now or not? Because if you're going to, like, complain for days after every loss, then you obviously care. So have these expectations for everybody. That's all I'm saying. Because this is the current team right now. I don't care about fake trades, past trades that didn't happen, future trades, all that stuff. If you're going to look at the team right now and you're going to care so much about wins and losses that it really affects your mood, then if you're going to hand out all this shit, hand it out equally.
Well, right. Yeah. I do want to say my issue with everyone loves to throw one player under the bus every game. And I think that's stupid because everyone ultimately is at fault. Some decided less than others because, Bam has been very consistent this year. But in general, it's just the team dynamics are shit right now. And, like, it's just not happening. What's that? For a couple of weeks from Brass skip. Yeah, I hear you. I'm getting there. But it's frustrating because everyone there's this, like, longing to be right. It's like, weird. I told you that player sucks. It's like, come on, man. Like, that's shit analysis, and that's coming from me, who doesn't know how to analyze a damn thing except a cocktail menu.
No, but that is true. There are so many people out there just watching games, like, looking to verify their takes. I do it too, to be honest with you. But I watched this game hoping that we could play the "I'm Sorry" song for Haywood Highsmith. Like, I had a couple, like, I
started off that way.
I wanted to be wrong. Like, I want to play the I'm sorry. I wanted to say I'm sorry to Hamish. I really did. And then,
I just want some understanding of it. Because like, if it's not Tyler or Duncan, then everybody just skates free. And I don't really get it. I don't get it at all.
I don't know what y'all are looking at where you're not seeing other people give criticism to other people. Like, I've been vocal that, like, Gabe shot like shit. I'm happy with some of and I'm not liking, like, some of his defensive stuff. Like, that's not and so I'm not saying that people aren't, but I don't know. Maybe I'm not seeing what y'all are seeing in that it's either all Duncan or all Tyler and no one else is getting their share of criticism, whatever. And again, like, this idea that, like, if you get a raise and a new job description, you are expected to now work at that new job description. And so, like, the idea that getting more money or whatever doesn't raise expectations, I can't subscribe to that.
I feel like Bam and Kyle get just as much heat, I would say, as Tyler and Duncan. Like, I feel like it's right in that.
Kyle gets a ton.
Kyle's in that group too, and I don't really get that either.
And a lot of what Kyle has gotten this season, some of it's deserved, but a chunk of it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel like a major part of the Bam stuff is either. Like, Bam gets just random hate for no reason. Like, that's just like, you just want to just find something a lot of the time. Where that's why I really do believe it's contract based. Like as much as we hate to hear it, because Max, as much as we let him slide, I guess, or people let him slide, I think Gabe is at the same level of Max, where I think he is able to slide as well, and they're both under the same contract. Caleb's in that middle range where Caleb's not flipping a game, like, and by any means, like, I don't, because he's not high enough volume or high enough usage, so he's in that middle range anyway. But all the guys that get the heat are those guys that you mentioned, and Jimmy's on the outer range because I think everybody pretty much knows what Jimmy is and what he does in the playoffs, that no matter what happens, he's not going to take a major portion of anything. So I feel like it's, if you look down, I guess the contract, like top to bottom, that's pretty much the level of attention you're getting, I guess, after a game.
That's just none of our business to me. Like, even with the expectations being raised, like, okay, that's fine. But just compared to the market, like, guys get paid.
Kenny, I do think some of it is disproportionate, right? I really do. I do think some of it is disproportionate. Like, we act like 18 million, or I mean, I think Duncan made $15 million a year last year. We act like he's on a max deal. So he's not on a max deal. He's not on a huge deal. It's a normal deal for a 3-point shooter of his caliber, right? Like, it's a normal deal. But when his deal, in the first year, his deal did not affect what they did. But going forward, his deal affects shit. Kyle Lowry's deal affects things. Like, these guys, the money that they pay these guys affects what they can do. Now, on the other hand, people don't understand how trades work. If you don't have these contracts, you can't trade. Right. Like, you need these contracts to trade. So there's a lot of machinations involved. So I wish we didn't talk about contracts. I wish we talked about minutes and usage. Like, your minutes and usage should be like what I hold you accountable for.
That's the thing too. Duncan got money and can't be used. Like, those are compoing issues that people have. Is not being used.
But he's been a big part of the rotation. Now, like, to me, Gabe has been bad at points and nobody talks about it. Max has been bad at points and nobody talks about it. And like, Kyle gets all this shit, and Bam gets all this. Like I can say Bam was bad tonight in the fourth quarter. He just was. Like, and that's fair to talk about. But I think there's some place in the middle, right, where we can talk about like contracts and the effect on the team, but we also need to talk about, like, okay, who's getting the minutes though? Who's out there playing and how are they playing?
Well, this is my last point on this, right? Because I think we have to like take a further step out and look at the full context of it. With Duncan, it was either pay him or lose him for nothing and just not be able to sign anyone else. That wasn't a loss. They had his bird rights. It's fine. Kyle, he was the best free agent that year, and they desperately needed a point guard. And so you had to overpay if you consider it an overpay. And so I'm at that point, like, when you understand that, what's the point of complaining now? Did you want to keep Kendrick Nunn starting? Like, did you want Duncan to just walk and like get nothing?
I love how everybody wants Goran back, and Goran was so bad. Like, and Goran
that's like stuff like that. That's why I just don't.
But I will say, here's the last thing before we go to what they're doing over there. The last thing I'll say about the Duncan contract, yes, it was bird rights. And I was fine with the Duncan contract because I still think that is going to be the contract that gets traded in February. And that's going to bring you a power forward. And I'm okay with that. But once you start talking about 5 years, like, we're no longer in that bird rights conversation. Like, that contract money affects you every year after that. So that is something to be said.
It's just funny. Some of the like, run it back people who bitch about the run it back are like, oh, come on, Goran and Whiteside, come on.
And they made Duncan their starting shooting guard before he had developed a handle. So it was like the money and the position, and it was like a lot of
shooting guard before he got the money.
It was working. It was definitely working. Like, right up to
he started in the finals, didn't he? Am I wrong?
No, it was working. Look, that's why I don't because
Bond. He started in the finals, like, so and he had like a 30-point game. Like let's not do that.
Look. This is why I don't care about guys' contracts, because it's based on what they did leading up to it and what the market dictates. And so they had to, like, that was coming off the year he had, the couple years he had. It was a good deal. After that, then hey, whatever. But it's nothing you can do at that point. He earned it up to that point. It was him, his agent, and the team agreed to it. It made sense at the time. If he's not producing now, what are we going to do about it?
What
Cancel it?
There, Brass.
Carlos Arroyo. I'm good.
Yes, Carlos Arroyo.
Who else wants Carlos Arroyo back? Why are we? Duncan Robinson didn't even play tonight, Brady.
Yeah,
I was just sitting here thinking they could have used Carlos Arroyo tonight as a secondary ball handler. So
anybody.
They could have used Duncan Robinson tonight.
There is space to talk about why won't they use Jovic more as a ball handler. They definitely. He's been a playmaker and a point guard, a ball handler his entire life. And like they look good and they trust him. They feel good with him handling the ball. I don't understand Spo's.
That confused me because he was playing the one in the second quarter and it looked great. And then Spo just never went back to it.
And then, oh, fuck that.
He had a play where it surprised me. Like he had a stretch of the first half where he did not look good. Like he was missing shots. He was kind of in his own head. It felt like at times. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, when a young guy, something like that happens, it's like he's done for the rest of the game. He's not going to get back in it because that's just the way it is. And then all of a sudden, they miss a shot. He gets the ball. He goes down on the break transition, slides it over to Strus. He hits a left wing three. Next play, same thing. Runs in transition, makes a decision, looks it off, throws to Strus for another three. There's like that type of stuff. Like when you can spark runs in like 30 seconds of 6 points because you're creating it, because you're looking off a defender and getting Max an open three. It's like that's the stuff what makes people think like, why is he not being used more as a ball handler? But then there's also the element of like, why is he not just being used more? Like, forget the ball handler. Just like he needs to be used more. Like if we're sitting here and we're having a conversation, is Jovic the starting forward for this team, or is he a rotation player for this team? If we look at the roster tonight and he's not trusted on this roster, like the 8 guys that played, what makes us think that Spo's going to trust him when everybody comes back? Because I don't.
Then why start him? Like that's what pisses me the fuck off. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, that's what, like, honestly, I think this has been one of Spo's worst seasons in a long time. Mm-hmm. And honestly, he could turn it around. And honestly, he knows a shit ton more than me. But there's absolutely no way in my mind that if you have 8 healthy people and 3 of them are Dwayne Dedman, Highsmith, and Kane, why Jovic isn't playing 30 fucking minutes?
Nonsensical.
It doesn't make any sense. And we keep doing this. Like last game, Jovic played almost as many minutes as Highsmith. And I don't fucking get it. Like in the first half, Jovic was -1. In the first half, Highsmith was -20. -20 in one half. Like this dude does not play NBA basketball. He is not an NBA basketball player. They didn't even give him NBA sanctioned shorts. My man is out here wearing black Air Forces with a shitty haircut and a stubble beard. Like, why is he on? Like, okay, he's a nice kid and he plays really fucking hard. 13 minutes, 12, 10, 8. He doesn't need to play that much, especially if Jovic is only getting 20 minutes. Like, why are we starting Jovic and then sitting him? Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what does Haywood Highsmith do? That's supposed like, goddamn, I can't take this motherfucker off the court. Look at him. He's out here looking Aki as shit. Like, dribbling with his left hand like it's the first time he's ever seen that motherfucker. Like, I saw my daughter today. She lifted up her left hand and she was like, oh, right. What is this? And when she did that, it looked like Haywood Highsmith dribbling with the left hand. It was the same goddamn thing. Like, oh, shit, I can do this. And he almost dribbled the ball out of bounds. Like, what the fuck are we doing with Haywood Highsmith? Like, and my thing is, like, I understand. You only have a few healthy players. So you have to see what guys can do. Why are we not seeing what fucking Jovic can do in extended minutes? Like, why are we not seeing that? Instead, we're trying out Haywood fucking Highsmith. Because Haywood Highsmith is the future? Future of what? The fuck are we doing? The Washington goddamn Generals? Fucking hell, man. Take me out, Brass. Like, Jesus, what the fucking Haywood Highsmith shit? He should be playing 10 fucking minutes. Like, Jovic should have 35 minutes. Win or lose, at least you know what Jovic can do. Like, what are we doing? Now I know what fucking Haywood Highsmith can do. I have a really good idea what Jamal Cain can do in extended minutes. Great. What the fuck am I going to do with that information? It's useless. Useless goddamn information.
Even if Jokic was bad, it feels like something you work through growing pains. In games like
Yeah.
this where you
Yeah.
don't have anybody,
Yes.
Let
you
him
work
figure
through
it
it,
out.
and you see where you can use him. You see what he's good at. You find different things, his strengths, his weaknesses. It feels like we're not really learning anything other than the fact that, okay, he could push pace in this part of the game, and they can run this one play for him every 7 times down the court. Like, it's like we're not learning, like you just said, like we probably are learning more about Haywood Highsmith. I've learned
But why do I need to learn about Haywood Highsmith?
Yeah, we're good. I'm
because
good.
he's undrafted.
It's just
he has a long bio on MyMeet.com.
Oh my
Next
God,
to
this dude's gonna get
undrafted,
he's gonna get a 5-year fucking $30 million contract.
It's somehow more infuriating than like the Josh and Justice years, because when they would play, they would get a ton of minutes. It's like, well, hey, but look what
We're
they
learning
did.
something.
There was a learning curve there, and like, man,
I would cut if I was running the Miami Heat. I would cut Haywood Highsmith. I would have done it halfway through the fucking last game, through the Cavs game. I would have cut him at halftime. I don't care if I have 7 healthy players. I would have forfeited the fucking game. I would have cut him
that would've
and
been
asked
great.
Carmelo Anthony to come through. Like, I don't know, or fucking Dwight Howard, Boogie Cousins, any of these washed up fucking guys who could rebound.
Dwight's killing it in China.
Listen, Dwight's doing work in Taiwan, so
Mhm.
Listen,
Leave him
Dwight
alone.
Howard right now is better than Dwayne Dedmon. And I don't really want Dwight Howard. I'm just talking shit. But
Yeah,
if
much
it was
does-
him, like if I could have Carmelo Anthony or fucking Haywood Highsmith, why would I take Carmelo Anthony?
can Arvidas Sabonis still get up and down the floor at this point?
Is he alive?
RIP just in case, but I hope so.
Did you kill him?
How much would Dwayne Dedmon put up in Taiwan?
Ooh, man.
12 and 8.
No, come on. Because he would get like 12 of them step backs a game. And he hit 3 or 4.
He's only
Nah,
used to
they
working
run
on
that-
American cars, though. That's the issue.
Oh,
Oh man, we can't be so down bad. We're asking for Dwight Howard, man.
speaking of drunk uncles, we have a segment. It's not even a segment. We got advanced footage of the new episode of The Shop. You guys know LeBron's show.
It's about to be stupid.
It's gonna be very fucking stupid.
But
Like
look,
Brady,
man.
you might want to sign off at this point.
Stick
It's not
around,
that
Brady.
bad. But we got advanced footage of the latest episode of The Shop, and it's a Thanksgiving edition. So we wanted to preview it for you guys. Hey everybody, thanks for showing up to this special episode of The Shop, Thanksgiving edition. I appreciate y'all, man. I really do. I appreciate my brothers for, showing up here on this special occasion. Before we eat, before we say the blessing and everything, I want to go around the table. I want to hear what you guys are thankful for this year. I'm thankful to Bank of America for cashing them checks, bitch. Bonsoir. I am thankful for Laurie Martinet of the Utah Jazz for playing so well. I don't have to live in Salt Lake City. What are you thankful for? No, you're the one with all the questions. What are you thankful for? I don't need to answer shit. What are you thankful for? I am thankful for the pilgrims that originally came over to the continental United States as part of a caravan. A caravan that was funded by none other than George Soros. Hey. That's good. We good, Kai. We good. Thank you. Thank you for your words. Who's next?
He's not my problem now. Mashed potatoes. Out of here.
Oh man, yeah. For me, I'm thankful for y'all taking all the spotlight off my Lakers first and foremost. And I'm also thankful that I had the wisdom and the foresight, like when I told the Indians not to go have dinner with the pilgrims and not to take none of their blankets. I told them that. I had said that at the time, but they didn't listen. And look where we are now. Hey yo, Doc, what you doing back there? What's going on? We hungry? I ain't cooking nothing. Told you wasn't that.
Thank you, LeBron, for letting us in the shop.
I thought it was a nice.
I think it's
And what you
lovely.
saying? I look ashy.
Yeah, I think you have Ethan's webcam. Not sure what's going on there.
Yeah, Brady, what is that? You don't have to answer. I
Potato
just want to
quality.
see your facial expression. Like, what is Ethan's thing with cameras? Like, what does he do to them before he records stuff?
I have no idea. I feel like I'm supposed to have this inside information. There was one the other day where it was the worst one I've ever seen. Like, it was like literally, I thought it was a joke because he was on the court and I was walking over there and I saw it. And I thought it was literally like something he was like doing as a joke. And I walked up to him and I was like, what, are you serious? And he was like, it's the lighting. And that was his words, and he kept walking. So I said, okay, like, I think it's a bit, but hey, if it isn't, then he's got to keep it rolling. I don't know. Like, I really
I asked him the other day, did he smear mayonnaise on the back of his camera?
You asking that because he's white? That's fucked up, Alf.
Yeah,
That is.
I love mayonnaise. Ready?
Right before Thanksgiving.
no.
No, you don't like mayonnaise? Oh man. Okay.
I like how Brass put that green bean casserole in there like we wouldn't know. You know Nash brought
It's
that
not like
shit,
I
right?
cooked that food in the fucking video. Alf. What the fuck?
Nash definitely brought the green bean.
Steve
casserole.
Nash brought that green bean casserole.
Man, all due respect, white Thanksgiving just sounds depressing.
Brady,
Like, hey,
Brass.
I might have told Alf the story before. Like, I went to high school in the suburbs, and I had a white dude's Kool-Aid before, and it was just like, it was unfortunate. I'm sorry, Brady. I forgot you were here. Don't let Ethan see this episode, but good luck on Thursday, you and Brass. Thoughts and prayers.
Raisins and shit for no reason.
I
probably shouldn't say it, but nobody I know watches this late. So there was a Thanksgiving at a family member's house, and they're married to a white person, and they made the turkey. And I'm gonna tell you, honest to goodness, they bought a turkey from Publix, unwrapped that motherfucker, took a stick of butter and rubbed it over the turkey, put that some bitch in the oven, and then served it. Like, we're not talking about no seasoning, no stuffing, no nothing. Like, they rubbed a stick of butter, and that was the only seasoning. So it was just like buttered turkey. And ever since then, I haven't trusted white people.
Brady, I don't think you're familiar with my game, so you might want to go ahead and turn your camera off before I say this. That story right there scares me away from interracial dating more than immature dating.
Oh my god.